Hello, this is how to search for source code across the entire KDE source code. This is the KDE official website, kde.org. Get involved, development. In here you search for search. And we're at this chapter, source code cross-referencing. Let's do what it says. So it says that there's a website, lxrkde.org. Then you might want to switch the branch group from the hamburger menu, or you make the page wider. There's branch group, and you could choose between Qt 5 and Qt 6. The default is the correct one, which is git master branch Qt 6. And then the possibility is of using identifier search or general search. Let's use the identifier search first. Case sensitive. Let's put a identifier, find. And it finds all of the places where this identifier is either defined or used. So definitions, kmessagebox.h, kmessagebox.cpp, the pimple underscore p.cpp underscore p.h. Let's actually look at the definition. So it takes you to the correct page, correct source code file. Namespace kmessagebox. Okay, messagebox is a namespace, not a class. There's enums inside. And then there's free functions. Many of them. So this is similar to the Win32 messagebox API function, but with many more overloads, such that it's clearer from the function name that you're using what you're actually after. And way more complex scenarios than just the plain Win32 messagebox API. Okay, so that would be definitions. So the body of the methods, the include file that contains the method signatures, and then where this identifier is being used. And of course, it's used in most KDE Git repositories, with kmessagebox being probably not Qt quick, but Qt widgets. There are some KDE Git repositories for KDE applications that are using QML, Q quick controls, Kirigami, and not using Qt widgets, such that that software is, for instance, portable towards Android operating system. Okay, let's see how a usage looks like. Goes to the correct source code, file, kmag.cpp, goes to the correct line, 566, kmessagebox error. Let's see if we click on error, what happens. I'm not sure what it does. I hoped it would go straight to kMessageBox error because it knows where kMessageBox is defined. It knows where the free function error is defined, so okay, so maybe it's precise when the identifier is extremely unique across the KDE source code, across all of the KDE Git repositories. How would we search for kMessageBox error? Using full text search, not using symbol search. Okay, let's search some of these identifiers in here. Let's see definitions only. Definitions only doesn't show the second group box, the one with references. So this part of the web page just shows the first part, which is the definitions page, part of the page. So let's see what rename dialog is. From KIO, which is a KDE framework version 6. We can go straight to line 203. That goes to the seat or to the constructor. There's also the include file where the constructor is, so this is the signature of the constructor, and this is the body of the constructor. Okay. If you're successful using lxr.kde.org, you can always start with lxr.kde.org. Maybe you will find all of the results with the identifier that you're looking for, or at least you get enough results such that you can get an answer to your original question. Okay, and then there's another type of search still inside lxr.kde.org, not an identifier search, but a general search. And this is a free text search, a full text search with glimpse. This is probably a full text search index technology, and we can do searches. So let's do the same searches that we did before, kMessageBox. There's regular expression search. As most full text search engines, there's a special query language for that full search engine. And it returns source code file lines, number and the entire line, sorted by, I'm not sure what, maybe the Git repository name. First was arc and then basket. and then day countdown, and then file light, and then Kate. Okay, very, very interesting. And we can exclude the CPP files and go straight for .h files. Let's see how we do that. There's Perl regular expressions with PCRE, Perl compatible regular expression library probably. So let's see .h. Okay, so .h works because it's searching for substrings. Let's see if it's searching for globs. Nope, it's not searching for globs. Let's see if it's searching for regular expressions. Nope, it's not searching for regular expressions. So I guess it's doing substring searches into the file name or the file path. Let's see if it's the file path. So it's string substring search in the full file path, and probably case insensitive. Yes, it's case insensitive. And we can go regular expression. So that would be like this. Great. So we can go only include files from case stars. How do we do that? Stars, and then slashes, and then any character any number of times, and then dot, and then h. Okay, that works. Great. So in addition to what I did inside this page with a full text search index, you could also experiment with case-sensitive searches. Case-sensitive at least in the full file path, and then also learn more about the Glimpse search query language. So that would be all for lxr.kde.org. Next up, let's go to GitHub. Inside GitHub, there's an organization named KDE, where there are GitHub projects which are mirrors of the official KDE Git repositories for the various KDE projects. So these are read-only mirrors. The real Git development happens on the website https://invent.kde.org, not on https://github.com/kde. But this requires that you have a GitHub account in order to have the search across the organization KDE work correctly. You can either go straight to this URL, so github.com/kde, or just to generic github.com. In there, do a search and search for instance, a KDE Git repository. You can go for kcalc. It's going to find the correct Git repository, GitHub project, KDE/kcalc. And then you can start searching, and one of the options is the third one, which is org:/KDE. Let's do the same thing that we did previously, which is search for kmessagebox. So the third option, and where is it? This thing. After you paste K message box, you select the third option in the combo box. The query that we're using is org:/KDE space and then the identifier. So let's see if the search results resemble the ones from LXR. It's both better results and worse results than LXR. Let's actually have them side by side. The fact that you can go just definitions only and immediately see that the thing that you wanted is the full signature of the namespace, so the signature of all of the free functions from the namespace kmessage box. Whereas using GitHub, I'm not sure how to do the same thing. You can just show .h files. Let's see how to do that. When you do search, there's a search syntax tips. And in here, we can select to have filtering by programming language, or we can filter by the file extension. In our case, we want source code files with extension H. So specifying a language is language : like this. We could use this, but probably 90% of the results are C++ language, and some might be Python, so I'm not sure how much of a narrowing this thing does. But then there's also search by the full path of the file, and below is an example like this. There's Boolean operators and so says path : and then parts of the full path. In our case, that would be .h between double quotes. So let's see how that works. I'm not sure if the syntax that I'm using is correct, but the results do look okay. So it's only .h files, which means that the results in other programming languages than C++, such as Python and Java, probably have been eliminated. All of the CPP files have been eliminated, so we're down to just .h files. Okay, let's see how grouping works in here. The grouping is by files, and I would have rather have the results grouped by repositories. And I see that I want to search for the full strings, okay, message box, not substrings. Let's see how we do that. It says that it can identify symbols. You can search for symbol definitions such as function and class definitions using the symbol qualifier. We're actually after a C++ namespace definition, so let's see if that works. and it still is looking for substrings. Maybe it's looking for regular expressions. So that would be word boundaries. Nope. From what I can determine, it doesn't get all of the C++ namespaces and provide them with the symbol colon search. So if I search for kMessageBox, it's going to detect all of the classes and norms, etc. that have kMessageBox in name. If I want to search exclusively for the kMessageBox symbols, so just this string, you could use regular expressions, but it will not return any results. And if we try with other symbols that are not for a namespace, but for instance, a class, such as button code, it will find all of the definitions of the symbol button code as an enum in this case, across various KDE Git repositories. And exactly this thing, button code, no extra characters. If we remove the regular expression, then it's also going to find symbols that contain button code in the name, such as assistant button code. So yeah, you will need to, again, improve your knowledge of the GitHub search language, this thing, this syntax, and then determine which of the programming languages is indexed in which way and which types of symbols are available when you search for symbol. In this case, I'm not sure that C++ namespaces are available with search of type symbol colon. But it does work for other symbols, such as enums and probably also methods, free functions, etc. So it doesn't seem to find also free functions. Yeah, that is. That's it. And there's not enough navigation between symbols and between Git repositories. So when you control click on this symbol, it's not that easy to navigate to QString, for instance, which is available in LXR as far as I know. So let's do that. Question, yes, no, cancel. Let's search it in LXR, in definitions only, not in Python. K-alarm. And you can navigate for the Q widget and other cute symbols. And maybe also sometimes search speed is faster using GitHub than using LXR. And the third and final way of searching across most of the KDE Git repositories or across all of the KDE Git repositories is to actually git clone hundreds of KDE Git repositories on your local computer and then use a search tool such as, I know, grep, ripgrep, Visual Studio Code, whatever you're most useful, most knowledgeable of. So I have the KDE build tool, KDE builder. Let's see if this option still works. Nope. Previously, KDE src-build and KDE-builder, when you invoke them without providing the name of a module or a module set, it thought that you want all of the KDE Git repositories that are configured in your configuration file. And that meant that it would, if you just went KDE-builder without any parameters, it would git clone 300 Git repositories and then decide how to build them, in which correct order, and then it started building them one by one, all of the 300 Git repositories. But nowadays there's a bit of protection against this thing because people were using KDE-builder without any parameters accidentally, and they ended up building Qt 6 base and Qt 6, Qt Web Engine, etc. And that was not what people that did not really know how to use KDE Builder actually meant. So the protection is here, says no projects selected in command line. It also tells you the thing that you're actually looking for, which is command line parameters --all -KDE -projects, and command line parameters --all -config -projects. But I went the hard way. I searched for the KDE builder help. It takes you to a web page, says supported command line parameters, this URL. This is the web page, and I went through all of the command line parameters, and I got to the same two options. One is all KDE projects, the other one is all config projects. So I'm going to guess that all config projects are all of the projects that are mentioned in my configuration file in kd-builder.yaml and its dependencies. And maybe all KDE projects takes the entire metadata from sysadmin repo metadata, where there's definitions of at least 100 extra KDE Git repositories which are not by default included in the default kd-builder.yaml configuration file. So let's choose this option, all KDE projects, to be as hardcore as possible. KDE builder src only, Ctrl+Shift+V, and let's see what it does. So it will do git operations, so git clone on 661 Git repositories, all of the KDE frameworks version 6. I can see them that they are at the correct branch, or Qt 6. And it has also computed the correct order between these 661 Git repositories. So it's still frameworks. There's libraries that depend on Qt, such as PolicyKit, Polkit Qt 1, more KDE frameworks. So this is abusive in the sense that it's doing a ton of Git operations and it's using invent.kd.org. But this is also an option that you have. Maybe you have the perfect tool that searches through source code the exact way you want with the exact query language that you prefer. You're not bound to the Glimpse search language. You're not bound to the GitHub search language. So this is one of the options. Do a ton of git clones and then search through the entire directory. In my case, the default directory, which is ~kd. It's going through the personal information management GitLab group in invent.kd.org. And I'm going to stop the action at 100 Git repositories. Control C. Okay. And what we got is a very beefy directory ~/kde/src. You could also open this in a file manager, and a simple way to search across all of these Git repositories that I know of is using Visual Studio Code. You open Visual Studio Code in the current directory, Ctrl-Shift-F, and then do your magic here. So let's see, kMessageBox. Don't exclude anything for now. It automatically excludes .gitignore files, which is really important. It will not look inside the hidden .git directory, and it will ignore most of the build artifacts if there were such a thing. But KDE Builder is building out of 3, so it's keeping the Git clones of the KDE Git repositories as clean as possible. In there, the only files that get generated might be files generated by your integrated development environment, such as CLion, or or there would be files that you're not really interested in, such as translations into Portuguese. So let's see how this thing works. There's F4 to go to the first result, and you can press F4 a ton of times. The search results are sorted by full path, starts with Akonadi. I don't have the C++ extension pack for Visual Studio Code installed. And even if I had, I'm not sure how I would have the navigate to definition work or the show documentation on hover pop-up message box work. So we're just using Visual Studio Code as the Kate text editor or as an Emacs text editor, which is totally not configured. We're only opening directories, ~kd/src. We're only searching inside files. Okay. We actually want to search for a namespace, and we will probably use regular expressions because we don't know how many spaces there are between namespace and kMessageBox, so that would be \s any number of times, or plus even. and then regular expressions. And we get to exactly where we wanted, which is to show all of the symbols, all of the definitions of the symbol kmessage box. And it's a namespace inside the pimple.cpp, pimple.age, .cpp, and .h. And it also found it inside the documentation docstrings. Okay. What about fully qualified symbols in namespace kmessage box? No regular expressions needed. Again, F4. Let's restrict this to just PIM. We can't do that because Akonadi is not under the PIM directory. That was, you did this previously by providing in the KDE-src-build configuration file, there was an option to not have the modules directly under tilde/KDE/src, but there would be an intermediate directory. In the case of the PIM modules, there would be tilde/KDE/src/pim and then /akonadi. And then that would allow you to go files to include, and in here go /pim/. This way you probably need to know the name of all of the Git repositories that are part of PIM or that are interesting to you. You don't need to press the enter key to search. Search is automatic. You can search across multiple directories. Let's see how that is done. So we have Akonadi. And Dolphin. This is Akonadi. And this is Dolphin. So the separator is the comma. And there's also possibility of excluding. You could exclude all of the .cpp files. And you find doc strings from this, whatever this thing is, const expr. So this is a constant C++ literal string. Oh, this is the literal, this is the constant. A constant string. Okay, so you can exclude files, you can ignore the git ignored files. You can exclude directories. So let's exclude the directory Dolphin. Or you can use /. You can search, you can exclude the translations, that's the /po directory, and files ending with PO. Let's search for this one. Okay, should find just the place where translation is required. So the call to the K internationalization, KDE framework version 6, top level function I18N. And then maybe we want to look only at the translations. And now we can see translations into various languages. So this would be, I know, Arabic Standard. I'm not sure what this is. Asturian from the peninsula, Iberian Peninsula. Azerbaijan, yes, because there's the etc. Bulgarian. So this would be all that I know about how to search for source code across most of the KDE Git repositories or across all of the KDE Git repositories. Sometimes you need to just find the translation. Sometimes you need to just find a part of a literal string. Sometimes you want a full symbol, such as the exact name of a function with correct capitalization. There's also this possibility. So go kmessage box, and it might find symbols that start with kmessage box. So that would be like this. Do I know what I'm doing? No. \b. Yeah. So I wanted to search for all of the symbols that start with kmessage box, but then contain something extra, like kmessage box advanced or kmessage box 2. There's a possibility of searching within Visual Studio Code such that you get those results. But I'm not sure what that would be. Again, you would need to learn a search query language that works correctly in Visual Studio Code. So from what I see, \b, which is the regular expression that you would use for word boundaries, doesn't work correctly in Visual Studio Code. That's why you're forced to do all sorts of shenanigans, like you say kmessage box, and then that should be followed not by a white space, not by colon, not by dot, not by parentheses, not by this other type of parentheses, not by space. And at that point, you don't really need \b. Not by angle brackets. /u, where is that /u? Okay, so this would be it. This is how to search for an identifier or for just part of source code, parts of a word, of a method name, etc. across multiple KDE Git repositories. Very interesting when you want to see the impact of your source code changes. Maybe you want to change the type of a identifier, I know, to make it from enum to enum class, and you want to know exactly, even if that symbol is public and exported by a KDE library, you want to know how many other projects out there use that symbol. All sorts of other usages for searching across multiple Git repositories. Thank you.